Jen, are you able to come off of mute?
Okay. Hey, Cory. We can't seem to go live on YouTube, but it's okay. We're just going to go ahead and go as we are recording.
All right, perfect, perfect. Well, usually, we have, here we go, start recording. Good morning, everybody. This is the LFG call for Friday, and we were just gonna kind of talk about, getting your three pillars set up for the 2026, and kind of talk about what they are. And in the senior industry, we have pillars with inside the senior pillar. So I think it really comes down to what you love to do, what you like to do, what you're good at, and then how you see, what your avatar looks like. So we're going to give it a couple minutes just because we had a little bit of trouble with Zoom this morning. I think they changed their setup. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. But hopefully you guys can join us. And if you're listening, let us know if there's a better time on Fridays that work for you. I know I'm on the West Coast, so I know 7 o'clock was just too early to jump on. So I try to make it a little bit later, but let me know. And all right. Well, it'll be a small little group today. Jen, if you're able to come off of mute, let me know. And that way we can kind of just even give you a little bit of one-on-one time. Other than that, again, I was just going to kind of talk about the different pillars within inside the senior industry space, and then maybe kind of touch on some other ones as well. So number one is obviously senior living communities. Now there's your 55 plus communities that you go and buy into. You're buying a house. The whole community has to be 55 and over, and there's some restrictions in there. That could be a great one for people, come into the years of retirement, moving up or moving down, get into a place where they can truly age in place for as long as they don't need care. And then you have your independent living communities, which are more of a kind of like an apartment or retirement luxury resort style living. And usually they're rentals that you rent in there. You can bring in care. And again, usually everyone's in the kind of the same phases of life. Then you have your assisted living communities, your ones where you can start off independently, but then they start giving you care, and different ones have different levels of care. And then when we go into memory care, now some communities offer independent living, assisted living, and memory care, and some just go right into just memory care. So a bunch of different communities. And then there is a CCRC, which are generally the ones that how I reference the CCRCs are ones that you're buying into. And then there's a monthly fee, but they will take you through end of life. So it's somewhere where, once you're in there, generally people go in there a little bit younger than the assisted living community. Assisted living, usually it's people that are, you know, a crisis has happened, they need care, they need help, and then they go into trying to get help. The CCRCs, it's usually the wealthier client because they're usually 500,000. I mean, out here where we go, they're $1 million to $2 million to buy in, and you're not even buying the house, you're just buying into the community. You do get a portion of that back, generally speaking, 70 to 90% upon passing. And then there is a monthly. So how to go into them and prospect them is something that we are going to go into in depth in our master classes. So please, join us for those. is we're going to teach you how to prospect them, how to make relationships, bring them value, and ultimately, how do you make it one of your pillars where you get business from them? So that would be, in my mind, one of your pillars. And obviously, there's inside of there, there's different sectors you can go after. So we can, definitely go in and show you guys those. Is anyone right now making relationships with communities or breaking into them?
No,
No, not yet.
no, I'm not doing that yet.
Not
I'd
yet.
like
And
to.
is this something you want to do?
Yeah, I mean that's
Oh,
that's what I'm thinking about doing. And like you said, adding it as a pillar, you know,
yeah.
not everything.
Yeah. And there's times where I've gone to communities and on the first tour I've actually gotten a referral or an introduction to somebody. And there's times where I've prospected them and visited them every single month for a year and didn't get anything. So I do believe, and I think most things in real estate, it's a relationship business, and you want to make partnerships up with these communities. So we will literally, with our master classes, I believe we're planning to do a whole month of how to prospect, how to bring value, what are things that you can do, and then also some um, I don't know what the word is. Sorry, I'm going. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of a 5 day fast right now. I'm in the fourth day, so I'm a little brain foggy and lost for words. But like an
You're
auxiliary, like
much
there's
better than I am, Cory. I couldn't do that.
it's a water only. I'm in a Bible study, and they talked about the importance of fasting, and I had no idea how important it was. But I will say it's been easier than I thought because of the reason behind it. But anyway, so I'm trying to think of the word of like um you do something and you get something else because of it, but not like that wasn't the main focus of it. So, but they could be great for that. Also, you can do lunch and learns there, which are perfect because you can do a lunch and learn, and it could be, and I'll kind of transfer this right into the next pillar. Lunch and learns themselves can be a pillar in themselves. You can do lunch and learns at senior living communities. You can do it at like the rec centers. You can do it at the VA centers and libraries and assisted living communities, golf courses. I mean, there's a bunch of different places you can do them at. I look for the places that you can do them where it's cost efficient. At the communities, usually they pay for the space, they pay for the lunch, they help you with marketing. So you could pretty much do them for almost free. Libraries are pretty cheap. Usually they'll let you rent them out for, I mean, mine's like $90 for 3 hours. So it's something really, really affordable. And I believe when you do lunch and learns, it sets you off as the authority. And it also gives you a way to build those relationships up, build that trust up, brand yourself within the senior space. And even if you just do one a month, I think it could be a good pillar in itself. I've done ones where we have 50 to 60 people, and I've done ones where only two people showed up. I can tell you the smaller ones, in my opinion, are actually better. I know there's places that are out there teaching you how to do it in front of 100 to 200 people, but when I've asked them, they get zero conversions, and I don't know why a realtor would ever do something where it's going to get them zero. I think we should do something where it's going to actually give us business. So everything that we teach you is going to be things that we've done that's actually brought us business. And if we did something that it didn't bring us business, we're probably not going to tell you to go do it. We'll probably tell you, hey, this is probably why you don't want to do it. Um, so downsizing clubs could be another way of doing lunch and learns where you have a sequence of steps and you're actually walking someone through it. So that could be another pillar in itself. Another pillar is in our area, senior networking groups. Again, I believe most areas have senior networking groups. Mine, like within I don't know, 10-mile radius, we probably have 10 different networking groups that are based with the senior focus. So I think really looking out into your community to see where they're at. This again could be a great way to build up your vendors. It could be a great way to brand yourself and partner yourself, build your board of directors. So I think they could definitely be good. You have to be intentional. I think there's a lot of people that just go to these networking groups to play realtor or play whatever professional they are. You got to be intentional about it. but it could definitely be a good pillar in itself. And then switching into so I should stop. Is anyone else going to senior networking groups right now? Has it been fruitful? Do you guys have senior networking groups in your area?
How would you
You
find
guys can
them?
just come, yeah, you guys can just come off of mute and talk. I'm totally okay with that. What'd you say, Jen?
How would you find the senior networking groups?
So, I mean, generally speaking, they're not trying to be secret. So I would say start with Google could be a spot. You can go into Facebook groups and say, hey, does anyone know of a senior networking group that's going on? You can also go to senior living communities because a lot of times, a lot of these groups will hold them at senior living communities. Again, free space, free breakfast, and a spot to go tour them. So that would be another spot. Um, I know like places like not next door, but Alignable. It could be another one which is like a LinkedIn where like a bunch of professionals get on like a social media platform. So I think those would be your good spots to start. Um, Asking people within the senior space. So if you know a declutterer, an organizer, anyone in the space, generally speaking, someone either knows about one or actually goes to them. I
Okay.
know like there's a lady that does insurance and she goes to all 10 of them. That's like her only way of prospecting. So every morning, mid-morning, she's at a networking group. Um, I'm not saying every morning, but almost every morning she's at a networking group. What were you going to say?
So hi, I'm Lacey. So my sister Ashley's also on the screen. We work together, so she would say the same thing. We actually got connected through an elder law attorney into a really good senior networking group. And since it's the attorney running a lot of the coffee and networking, she's like a care coordinator, so she makes them happen once a month, twice a month, and we've just been continuously showing up to them. And we got really in and had a personal one-on-one talk with the woman who runs these. So now we're getting introduced to the right people in the circle. And when she sees us walk in to her coffee things, she gives us the wink of who you need to talk to in that room. So
Love,
I can say like
love
that,
hearing this.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
it's a really good person. I would say if you could find in the elder law attorney world, that is like a big one. So yeah, that's kind of where
Thank
we're
you.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And how many people generally show up to those and how often do they hold them?
The last one, I would say there was about 20 people there.
Awesome.
And then, we went to all the different, everyone was having their open house holiday and come fa la la and happy hour. And we made sure to attend all of them. And I was hugging people as if I knew them and I don't know them. So that was great.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and that can go back into, those senior living communities. They usually have professional days, breakfasts, open houses. And again, if that's your pillar, show up to it. It's all about showing up and staying top of mind. I mean, that's really real estate as a whole. I really believe, people say people do business with the people they know, like, and trust. I believe they are forgetting one of the most important things and they remember you. Because if they don't remember you, it doesn't matter how much they know, like, and trust you. When it comes time to actually doing it, they're like, oh, yeah, who was that person? Because we think because we told someone one time or we met them a couple times that this is what we do, that we're the first person they think of. We're not, unless we constantly stay in the flow with them and we're there to be remembered. So that could be another one. And again, going into segueing into the next pillar could be your board of directors. Paul has coined the board of directors, and I love it. People call themselves referral partners, but how many times have we gotten a referral partner and we've never gotten a referral from them, or it becomes a one-sided relationship, or they refer us somebody and that person never calls, or they give us their number and they never pick up. It happens too many times. So what I say is I don't want referrals, I want introductions, and all you have to do is just train the person how to introduce you rather than refer you. But building your board of directors, I mean, just imagine having 20 people, 20 professionals where it is their job to go and get business for themselves, or they wouldn't be in business. So now they have a book of business. They have some clientels. Well, guess what? They're probably your clients as well because, over 55% of the people still own a home. So if we can break into the professionals that already have homeowners, bring them value, find them more clients so they can find you clients or introduce you to their clients and you introduce you to your clients, is a great pillar to have. I know I have some, like my trust attorney, which I think is one of your better board of directors. She referred me 8 different people last year. So imagine like having 20 different partners like that. That's just with those 20 people, that's 160 opportunities I can get. And it's why I was able to help out 77 families last year because I have partnerships like that. So that could be another great pillar. And again, I think with the senior space, we think, in real estate, we want pillars or cookie jars or ways of getting business. And sometimes people just go with one. And I think one is you're selling yourself short. But I also think like if you pick the senior space, that can't just be a pillar because there's too many things to do with inside the senior space. And one of the best things that I love about helping seniors and their families or focusing on it is number one, 62% of transactions last year, they involved a senior that was 62 or older. So you have a lot of transactions happening with the senior segment, whether they're buyers or sellers or moves ups or moves downs or have to sell or pass away, it involves someone that's a senior. Number two, they own the most real estate. They have the most equity in real estate. There's also ones where, like, you talk about your market-proof businesses. When a senior has to get care, they have to move. And a lot of times they have to sell in order to move into the care. Or when the house gets too big, they have to move. Or when they pass away, generally speaking, most houses get sold, whether they're in trust or probates, they get sold upon passing. So by focusing on the senior space, by even just telling your core, your border, your database, what it is that you're specialized in, I think you open up the world to even more people than just who you're trying to help. So I think that could be another space. Right now, if you guys want to kind of just talk a little bit, is what are you guys doing with inside that senior space, or where do you want to head so that we plan again to do every month, break a pillar down and really break it down, give the steps by step actions. Where should we start for you guys to be the most beneficial for you guys?
Hi, Cory. I'm Lacey's other half, Ashley. I guess one thing that I know we really want to dive down is kind of like the Popeyes and getting in front of the different ones. So kind of breaking that down because immediately the first question I wanted to ask when we got on this call was, how many Popeyes do I bring, right? Because sometimes some of the places you go to, you need to have like potentially 3 for 3 different individuals or 5. And so we're going to randomly buy a certain amount and just see if it works. But like, that's something that comes to mind for myself.
We will definitely address that. I know Felicia has a lot of experience with it. I've partnered up with 18 different communities. And again, some of them are very fruitful and some of them are not. And this year, I'm going to kind of more focus heavily on the ones that are and kind of put the other ones in the back burner. I've given it my 12 to 18 months, and I really believe that you got to give yourself that amount. But the way I can kind of like the way I think of it is I'm a title rep. And a title rep will come by every single week and they'll come by with an item of value and also a question of, oh, is there anything I can do to help? Or, hey, how's business going? Ultimately, my title rep that I use now, that's how I met her. She came into my office time and time and time again. And finally, that was like an opportunity. I was like, you know what? I'll give you this one opportunity. And then I liked working with her. And then there's been another title rep that's been doing it. So now I've been trying to get her a little bit of business too. So I think that's kind of the mentality that we have to have is just going there. And then with you and your sister, I would divide and conquer. I would, split it up. Maybe, you do a certain amount of communities, she does a certain amount of communities, or maybe kind of like tag team them. One week you do one week you do the other one. But we'll go over that and give you kind of some things and some big takeaways. Anybody else?
I have a question. When you said that the communities were fruitful for you, what did you mean by that? Was that how many leads and what would you consider fruitful?
So again, one of my biggest communities, they gave me 5 introductions in a year. So to me, that's like any one source where I can get more than one. I mean, for my sphere, if they give me more than one every 5 years, that's fruitful for me. If a
Sure.
board of directors or I consider a community like a board of directors, if they're going to give me more than one a year, that's fruitful. Because
Sure.
in real estate, we don't really need to do hundreds of transactions to be successful. In
Sure.
most areas, if we do 20 to 30 transactions in a year, one, we're in the top 10%, maybe even 5%, depending on your area, in the nation.
Yeah.
So like I think too many times we spread ourselves out so thin and we're trying to get leads and chase this and chase that rather than just attract the business to us and really understand that if we get 30 opportunities or introductions, referrals close on a 3-to-2 ratio. So those 30 opportunities could be easily 20 deals. That's gold mine to me. So I think that's right where they're at. Now, those same communities I've done lunch and learns at, and I've picked up some of people from lunch and learns. And again, I think a lot of things in the senior space, there is some now business, and that's why I like the senior communities because there's sometimes where someone will come in and say, "I want to move in, but I got to sell my house first," and they're like, "Here, I have this person. They're great for selling the house quickly." But I also think it's the long game. I
Sure.
met someone at a lunch and learn. I met someone at a lunch and learn 3 years ago, and they just sold their house at the end of the year. Now it was a $2 million home, so it was a great wait for me.
Sure.
But it's a great way to get into the ecosystem, is what I call your sphere. So yeah, so that would be a good one. Now, if like again, after 12 to 18 months, if I don't get at least one from them, not that I have to actually do the transaction, but at least one introduction, then I kind of step away and go to the next person. And usually it means they already have someone, they don't realize what they have, or they don't realize the value that I'm bringing. So I try to bring items of value, success stories and things like that. And again, we'll break that down in one of the master classes.
So you give the senior community, whoever it is, you give them like a full year. And if you don't get an ROI on it, that's the like kind of your cutoff.
That's me personally. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. It's 12 to 18 months. I mean, there's some like that I've given the full 18 months, but for the most part, like if I'm going there and I'm
Yeah.
volunteering and I'm showing up and they're just
Right.
not giving me business, but I'll look at myself first and go, did I show up?
Right.
How many times did I show up? What types of value did I try to give them? Did I clearly, do my value proposition for their clients and how I can help them and bring them, support them. And if I did all that and they didn't give me anything, then yeah, sometimes I'll even say, hey, I've been coming here for 18 months. You've never had an opportunity where someone wanted to move in, but they had to sell their house first and didn't have a realtor.
Mm.
And they say no, either they're just not asking the question, which then I failed at.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're not giving my probably full brochure, which I failed at.
Mm-hmm.
So, or they might not just like me. I mean, some people don't like short, bald white guys, and that's okay. Like I don't I
That's
don't get offended
okay.
by it. That's it's what I can do. So yeah. So and then just kind of furthering on the pillars, there's expos. A lot of communities will have senior expos. Again, they'll be at libraries, they'll be at senior centers. Sometimes senior living communities will have them as well. There's some outfits, and depending on where you're at, you probably have to be in a big metropolitan area. But they'll actually be like an outfit that does, senior living communities. So I think those are some good ones. And then I don't want to leave out like social media. Like, I mean, Gretchen, one of our old coaches, like she's great at getting business from the sandwich generation because her social media is just nonstop, like speaking to her avatar. So I think social media could be a great one. I think all in all, if we're in real estate and we're not showing up on social media every single day, there's a disconnect with the reality and stuff. And I get it. Some people don't like to be on camera, or they're shy, or they don't. It doesn't matter, because all honestly, what I can tell you is, even if you get 40 views on one of your videos, could you imagine being in a room with 40 people right now telling them what it is that you do? And then being able to show up every single day. It's like making a cold call to the same group of people or different people every single day, without having to worry, because I hate rejection, without having to worry about getting rejected, without having to worry about, like, oh, what do I say next? Or how do I convince them? No, you're just showing up. And I think if you use social media like that, I think it's a great thing, as well. And then, your next one is your core. I mean, those are, like, for me, my two big pillars is my core, which I consider anyone that says they're going to use me, or refer me, and can commit to introducing me to one person every 5 years. That is my core. So I started off my first year, I had 86 people that said that. And then by my second year, the end of your second year, I had 156. Now I'm living around 336. It was too many people. So this year in 2026, I'm actually going to get a little bit more um, focused. And this month, I'm literally calling them and just saying, hey, for 2026, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm throwing events, I'm doing different specials, but I need to know, are you part of my core? Do you welcome my phone calls? And are you actively going to look for, if someone at a party says they're looking to sell, are you going to be the one that goes up and says, hey, you know what? Let me put you in touch with my real estate agent, Cory. Um, because I think 250 is a more manageable number. I look at everything of, like, okay, if I contact these people every single month, there's 250 people. I work 25 days, basically 25 days in the month. If I'm making, 10 phone calls or 10 conversations, and that's my main source of prospecting, that's good. Now, if you have other pillars where it's spending time prospecting, then I'd say start with 100 and maybe stick with 100. And again, just give those people a certain amount of time to see if they'll do it. Now, if I call someone for a year and they're not picking up, guess what? They're not part of my core. If I I've had some people that I've given the full 5 years and I've never got an introduction. Well, those are the easy ones. I just get them out. There are some people that I give, and I mean, again, one of my best people ever, he's given me 12 different referrals in the last 3 years. If you give me one a year, I have 100 people. They introduce me to one person every 5 years. That's 20 to 30. So if you're giving me one a year, that's all the opportunities I need. So those would be, the most of the pillars. And again, we plan to break them down and to really show you guys okay, how do we break into them? Like, what are they? How do we break into them? How do we bring them value? And then how do we market to them? And we'll give you everything that you possibly need, and then use these kind of LFG calls to mastermind and talk about them, and see how we can help you guys. Um, what else do we got? That's what I had the plan for it. What questions do we have? How can
I
I
have a
help?
question. I have a
Yeah.
question, Corey.
Yeah.
What about like um direct to the consumer marketing? Like, are you guys adding any of that in, like direct mail to older folks, people who've been in their house a long time? This
Yeah.
so because this is like kind of when they're already, I mean, this is great, but like they're already, like, let's say, thinking about, they've already reached out to someone about making this move, right? Whether it's like assisted living place or any of these places that you just talked about. So what about getting them before they actually, just when they're thinking about it? Do you do anything like that?
I mean, we could definitely touch on that. I mean, and Felicia and Paul, will have their own spin on it. But I always believe, like, we wanted to attract the business rather than chase it. And I think if we're trying to go to the masses, like, social media could be a great way to go to the masses. I think if you have a farm area, like I'm going to try out this year, and so I don't want to speak on anything I haven't done, seen the results from, but I plan to take 1,000 person farm that are everybody is 72 years and older.
Uh-huh.
they at least have one property, and that property is either over 1,800 square feet or a two-story home. Those are like the most likely to want to downsize, or the house doesn't work out for them anymore. But again, I think it's a long game because when people were surveyed over the age of 72 of where they're going to live for the rest of their life, they said inside their home. They're going to leave feet first. They're not, someone's going to have to pull them out in a stretcher or whatever have you. And I think so you'll be fighting that resistance. But what I'm going to try to do is say, hey, I'm here to help you with like the decluttering, the organizing, and then help you with the estate sales. So that way, you can age in place and we can retrofit your home and kind of do it the other way around. But some of that is because I have those services and those companies that offer that. And it's something I've built up over the last 3 years. And now I'm planning to do it as a standalone company. Um, so I think it really just comes down to make it fruitful. I would say you would want to maybe start there of like advertising to, hey, we can help you, declutter, we can help you organize, we can help you do an estate sale. I think, or do the retrofitting, a certified aging in place specialist. I think that would be more fruitful than sending a bunch of, cards or, direct mailers are expensive now, especially if you're going to do some type of invitation or postcard. They're almost still $1 a piece. So if you're
Yeah.
spending $500 a month, and I believe it's going to take 12, 18, 24 months to start getting results. Now you could do it, but again, the way I believe it is and see it, if I get a mailer from some stranger that says that he's going to help me out or she's going to help me out with, decluttering, organizing, or moving or planning for the future, I- there's no trust that's been built. There's no credibility that's been built up. And it's along with a bunch of junk mailers. I mean, I always look at your mail, and I call it junk mail, but look at your junk mail and who are you getting stuff from? Do you ever get anything from an estate planning attorney? Do you ever get anything from a CPA? Do you ever get anything from a doctor? Um, and now maybe I was looking at maybe like a weight loss doctor or I know we get boob job doctors, out here in this postcards. But for the most part, professionals don't direct mail and they don't door knock. So I always look at myself as a professional and I want to be looked at as an estate planner. I want to be on the same thing as a financial planner. So if I want to be at the same level, then I also want to be looked at that way. And I want to look at, okay, what are they doing? And most of it's introduction based. But again, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Um, I can tell you on social media, I do an ad that has been like extremely, extremely successful for me. And when I say successful, I'm spending about $1,000 a month and I get 100 to 200 leads a month. And what my whole thing, it's a really ugly, I call it my yellow ugly sign. It says like flashing bold. Do you want to sell and not pay capital gain taxes? Do you know there's 14 different strategies? Set up a strategy session so I can teach you how. So I've got lots of them, like too many of them where I had to turn it off. But again, that's a certain little niche. So if you're going to have some kind of niche, I would say go instead of direct mailing, I probably would say use social media ads to do so. I think the dollar amount you can't beat it. I mean, the like
Yeah.
you can't like so
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So that
then
would yeah
I have one other question.
yeah.
Like these assisted living and all the places that you talked about with, independent live the all the places that you would go. Like you've been going and you've been consistently, talking to them. How many realtors are going and doing the same thing?
So I not enough in my opinion. There's usually like one or two that have done it, but they don't do it consistently. I can tell the biggest one, like Berkshire Hathaway, they actually made a deal, a partnership with Sunrise, and all the
Mhm.
Sunrises were supposed to use Berkshire Hathaway. And I went in there and they're like, yeah, we use them. And I came back the next month and like, well, I want to let you know, hey, we're supposed to use them, but we've never seen anybody from Berkshire Hathaway over here. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I showed up the next month and they're like, you know what? And so I started getting referrals from them. So I think it's really just being consistent. But I also believe, like, again, I can be introduced to somebody and they might not like a short, white, bald guy, or they might not like the way I talk, or I might come off, too sure of myself, or whatever it may be. All the different things I've heard, I can't help that. Whereas you might walk in and they, oh, I love Jen. Jen was my daughter's name, and so I don't think that you should be like afraid or should scare you away from them. But I don't, it's not like, what it's not like is FISBOs and cancels and expireds because everybody's taught to go after FISBOs, cancels, expireds. So you ever have a cancellation? Like I've listed my own home and had it cancel and literally had 20 to 30 people calling me every single day for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like at 6 months, all of a sudden it started up again. And then a year it started up again because that's what they're taught.
Yeah.
No one's really being taught to go to these communities. And I also say, because it's not sexy. It's not
Yeah.
wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It's not Tinder date of real estate. And I think that's where real estate agents have gone so wrong. And the ones that are really going to make it are the ones that treat it like eHarmony. We're trying to marry these people for life because, once you do a transaction, that person becomes your client. They actually aren't your client until the transaction closes because you have
Yeah.
to get paid for them to be your client. So once they're your client, why is it that most agents never talk to them again? Well, I have nothing to talk to them about. Oh, they're not going to buy and sell again. Yeah, but what are they going to do? They're going to know people 4 to 7 every single year that buy and sell. Also,
Yeah.
in their lifetime, if you have that as a book of business, almost like an insurance agent or a financial planner or a CPA, and you're thinking, this is my client, I'm going to give them yearly equity updates. I'm going to give them ways to invest into real estate. I'm going to give them ways to help me introduce and different appreciation events. Normally, on average, most people will buy and sell 7 different sides of transactions in their lifetime. So if you could have one client and you get 7 transactions, man, that's a good book of business to have. So I wouldn't just want to discourage you. I've done Acorn newspaper ads, which is ours is called the Acorn, and they've been fruitful, but not enough to keep doing it because again, I look at it as like if I'm going to spend $500 to $1,000 on a newspaper ad to hopefully get 1 or 2 introductions, yeah, it might make sense, but it doesn't when you start really scaling yourself and if you're on a budget, then it doesn't make sense either. So I think there's that cross in between. But again, I know there's 2 agents in my area. They're big community realtors and they're every single week they're putting it's at least $250 to $500 that they're spending on their ads.
Hmm.
But he does 30, 40 deals, maybe even more than that a year just in my community. So it's obviously working, but I probably bet that he's using it as brand and awareness rather than he's using it as like he's actually getting business from it. um so, but I think you're really, if you're looking to attract your, you know, not people within your core, not people that are going to get introduced to you, I really think then you define and I think you should anyways, your ideal client profile or your avatar, like the person I love to help, and I know that I have the most specialty within inside myself. If you're 72 years and older, you have 3 properties or more, and one is vacant, that person I can help better than 99.9% of realtors. And it's not me, tooting my own horn or thinking highly. So, like, I know 14 different ways to eliminate capital gain taxes. And if you have 3 properties and one is vacant, generally speaking, it's vacant because you don't want to sell it and pay capital gain taxes. And if I can help you make more money than you're making now, why wouldn't you want to consider it? So that's my specialty. So, but again, I don't, I do those 1 ads. I'm probably going to start it up again. I brought on a new ISA that will hopefully make it more fruitful. Um, but that's the problem is like, I hate it and I laugh when I see people saying, oh, I got 100 leads this month. To me, that's a nightmare because then
Mhm.
you're chasing business and you're trying to convert and you're making yourself a boiler room at close. And like, I hate close and I hate rejection. I hate all that stuff. I like being introduced and seeing how I can help people rather than trying to feel like I'm just nonstop on the phone trying to convince somebody or trying to like, and I hate hearing FU or FO or I didn't sign up for that. And it's like, okay, well, you filled out a Facebook form with your name and number on this ad. I didn't make it up. Why are you making me feel bad for calling you and reaching out to you? So, um, yeah, so I think it comes down to like, you might be a person that likes that. I mean, there's people that are on this call, or have been on this call, maybe not on this call right now, that love, going after FISBOs and cancels and expireds because they like that. And I was like, then that's what you should do. And I think that's when it comes down to prospecting or whatever pillar you have pillars, then how are you going to prospect those pillars? I think you should always ask yourself, what do you love to do? What do you like to do? And what are you good at? And your prospecting should really result around that and revolve around that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts or things that we want to do? I did a sorry, I'm looking at my Instagram. I did a video before we started this and it's already hit 1,000 views, which is pretty good for me.
Oh, I was going
I'm
to
always
ask, what's your socials?
My social, so I'll put in the chat. I have two. One is kind of like front facing for everybody. Why isn't it typing? Oh, there it is. Cory B, your RE planner.
And then what was the other woman that you mentioned? She does really good on socials for seniors.
Gretchen Kingma. I'll put her name in the thing. Gretchen Kingma. And then I have one that's because I have like coaching courses and do boot camps and stuff. So I have one for there, Cory B. RE coach. And I kind of do more of like tips and it's more reels focused towards, agents, loan officers and things like that. And then my Facebook, which is my normal one, is just my name. Um, but yeah, feel free to follow me. And I'm never offended if some should say I'm almost never offended if someone sees my reel and mimics the exact reel and puts it out there. I mean, I think that's one thing that I love about Felicia and Paul. Like, if you see something or hear something that we do and you go off and mimic it, I don't think we're offended by it. I think our egos actually get struck by it. Like, hey, even if they didn't give me credit for it, I taught them that. So, feel free to look at things and I
Where's
think we
your
should all
market,
be.
Cory?
I'm
Where's
in
your
Southern
market?
California, so I cover from, I mean, Santa Barbara to San Diego. It's about a 300-mile radius.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
far.
I, yeah, I have a pretty big team that I downsized, so it's just probably a smaller team now. But we focus on listings, so it's not as time consuming as buyers. But I will say, for the first time ever, you guys are going to hear this come out of my mouth. I still think there's a reason to have a segment of buyers in your pipeline. I think there's a lot more as long as you don't have to pay 40% to Zillow to get the buyer lead. I think buyers are more profitable. And I think you can also, and I'll be very vulnerable. I got caught with my pants down this year. I had 30 listings. I had over $150,000 out in marketing, and they didn't all sell. So whereas a buyer, you're spending time, which is definitely money, but you're not spending $150,000 out of your pocket to make them happen. So I do think I've never tried to attract buyers, but I do think there's a reason to attract buyers, especially if you're not doing, 20, 30 deals a year. I think you should have a segment of buyers in there.
I'd agree.
And anyone else have any thoughts, anything of
No, thanks so
anything?
much.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep doing these LFG calls. Again, I've tried to make mine on Fridays. It's the only time it's different. It's just because 7 o'clock was way too early. I've taken get my kids up for school, take them to school. It was just too early, and so I try to make it 8:30. So if there's a better time that's not earlier than 8:30, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to keep going at 8:30. We're going to try to bring you value. Please, give a shout out if you guys find benefits from this. Give a shout out on the public group. We have 1,000 people in it, and I'm always baffled that we don't have 30, 40 people on these calls every morning or every other morning. And if there's anything that you think we can do to improve, that you guys want to learn, please let us know. We definitely want to grow this and basically help, create an army of people that are in the senior space that either want to get into it or thriving in it. We want to help mastermind and really make a huge group to really help seniors and their families so we can help more people. I mean, ultimately, they're the ones that get taken advantage of the most. They're the most underserved. Most people don't want to help them, and most people just don't know how to help them. So that's what we're trying to be able to do.
Just one thing.
Yep.
The link is it something is disconnected because the link when you go through, like you set it up and you register and it says you're good, you can use this link every week. That actually doesn't work ever. So I always get kicked off, like it won't let me go through. And then I have to go to the Facebook group and find the post that Felicia put up today in order for me to get on. So I don't know what's going
Okay.
on with the Zoom, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
I want to say also I used a link that I had gotten in an email and it kept saying this call has already happened
Right.
at 7 a.m. So I was thinking, Corey, maybe you should have one that's your own link or something that's an 8:30 because I almost gave up. I tried like four different things that I had in an email and they kept just saying the session expired. It happened at 7.
So,
Yeah.
Corey,
So
we have Jessica on too. She can help with that. She's our new admin right now. Zoom has changed a couple of things for recurring links, and this is great feedback so that we can get a solution out.
yeah. And I think like just thinking off the top of the head, and Jessica, I mean, we can talk offline as well. I think literally creating a Zoom link. I know we've been having them register at Kajabi, and I understand the reasons for it, but I think maybe having them register for the reoccurring link for Monday, the reoccurring link for Wednesday, and the reoccurring link for Friday, and that way they can do it, and then maybe having an event invite sent to them, because I'll admit it, I had trouble getting in today and finding the thing, so we're working out the kinks, but that's our goal, is to make it easy to get on these calls and to make it so that you can get on them, or at least maybe get an email of saying, hey, this is the link for today's call. It's going to be at this time or something like that. So we appreciate your guys' feedback. We're trying to make it mainstream and easy, and we've been through different programs, different platforms, and then when we finally figured it out, all of a sudden, like my 8:30 call went away this year. So we'll do better,
Welcome to
and
real estate.
yeah. So all
Well,
right.
we
Well, I think.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
Corey.
Yeah, no worries. And again, one thing that I also want to say about all the coaches, we're very accessible. Our membership, we're trying to make it super, super valuable, and then as well as offer one-on-one coaching. So any way that we can help you guys, just let us know. Please, let your friends know about it. Maybe if you don't want to go in your own office for competition, maybe go outside and into your brokerage. But please let us know, because we're really trying to grow, and we want to be the number one resource for seniors and their families, for agents.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Make it a
Thank
great
you.
day, and let's freaking go.
Let's go.
All right. Bye.